Welcome to today's episode of African Proverbs. In the heart of Africa, wisdom flows like an ancient river, carrying the secrets of our ancestors. Today, we unveil a timeless African proverb, one that holds the key to life's greatest lessons. Listen closely, for within these words lies the wisdom of generations. If you love African wisdom, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment to help preserve and share the legacy of our ancestors. My child, do you know that wisdom is older than all of us? Our ancestors left behind words that carry the secrets of life. Today, let me share with you proverbs that have guided our people for centuries. The sun hung lazily over the village of Obuyan, its golden rays painting the thatched roofs in a warm glow. The land was dry, the rains having abandoned the earth for many moons. Cracks ran deep through the soil like the wrinkles on an elder's face. Among the villagers, Jabari, a young but hard-working farmer, stood in his withering maize field. He wiped sweat from his brow, his heart heavy. The drought had stolen the promise of harvest, yet he refused to lose hope. In the village square, the elders sat beneath the sacred baobab tree, discussing the hardship. Some men whispered about abandoning farming and seeking trade in distant lands, while others spoke of borrowing from neighboring villages. "Jabari, my son," said Elder Kofi, his wise eyes studying the young man. "You work harder than anyone, yet even the strongest cannot plant maize in dust." Jabari straightened his back. "The rains will return, Elder Kofi. If we abandon our farms, what will we eat?" The elder sighed. "Stubbornness is not always wisdom, my son. Be careful that you do not break like a dry branch." Jabari bowed respectfully, but deep inside, he knew his heart would not allow him to leave the land his father had tilled before him. One evening, Mozika, a wealthy trader from a distant town, arrived in the village. He was draped in fine robes, his fingers heavy with gold rings. He called for a gathering, promising a solution. "The land has betrayed you," Mozika declared. "But fortune favors those who adapt. Join me in my trade, leave this dying soil, and I will make you rich." Many villagers murmured in agreement, their hungry eyes drawn to the promise of wealth. Even Jabari's childhood friend, Sefiu, nudged him. "This is our chance, Jabari. Why break your back in the sun when you can trade and be rich?" Jabari shook his head. "This land raised me, Sefiu. If I abandon it now, what kind of man would I be?" Mozika smirked. "A wise one." But Jabari only clenched his fist. "A bird does not change its feathers because the weather is bad." Mozika laughed. "We shall see." That night, whispers filled the air like restless spirits. When Jabari awoke, he found his farm trampled, his storehouse looted. Panic surged through him. Who would do this? Then he saw Sefiu standing near the ruined crops, avoiding his gaze. Jabari's heart sank. You did this?" Jabari asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Sefiu shifted uneasily. "I had no choice, Jabari. The land is dying. I chose survival." Jabari's fist tightened, anger and sorrow clashing in his heart. But after a long silence, he spoke calmly, "Go with Mozika if you must. But I will remain. The land will rise again." Sefiu lowered his head in shame and left with the others. Days turned into weeks. The village grew quiet as many left with Mozika. Jabari remained, tending to his farm despite the scorched earth. He dug trenches, collected morning dew, and prayed to the spirits of his ancestors. One evening, dark clouds gathered over Obuyan. The winds howled, and lightning split the sky. Then, at long last, the rain fell. It pounded the earth with a rhythm as ancient as time, filling the cracks, quenching the thirsty soil. Jabari stood in the storm, arms raised. He had endured. Months later, green life returned to Obuyan. Crops thrived, and the land was reborn. Then, one evening, weary travelers appeared, Sefiu and the others who had left. Their eyes were hollow. Their clothes tattered. Muzika had deceived them. He had used them for his gain, then abandoned them in a foreign land. They had nothing left. Sefiu fell to his knees. Jabari, I was blind. You were right to stay. Jabari helped his friend up and smiled. The land never forgot us, Sefiu. We only forgot it. As the village rejoiced, Elder Kwame placed a hand on Jabari's shoulder. You, my son, are like the bird that does not change its feathers, no matter the storm. And so, Obuyan flourished once more, and Jabari's name was sung in the tales of the village for generations to come. This story delivers a strong message of perseverance, identity, and loyalty to oneself or roots. This proverb teaches us a simple yet powerful lesson about resilience. Think about it, no matter how harsh the wind blows, the rain falls, or the storm rages on, the bird doesn't change who it is. It remains true to itself, with the same feathers that it had before the storm began. Now, what about us? How often do we let life's challenges change us, or even shake our confidence? Maybe a tough situation at work, a disagreement with a friend, or even something as small as a missed opportunity. Have you ever let these things make you feel like you need to change who you are in times of difficulty? It's natural to feel like we should adapt to the circumstances, maybe even abandon our true selves to fit in or to survive. But just like the bird, what if the secret to overcoming these challenges is simply staying true to who we are, no matter what the world throws at us? So, what do you think? Do you stand firm like the bird, or do you sometimes let the weather of life shift who you are? How do you stay grounded when things get tough? Remember, your true essence is like those feathers. It doesn't need to change because of the storms. Embrace who you are, no matter the weather. So, what's your next step? Will you face the storm with